Success rarely slips away because people lack intelligence. It disappears because they never discover whether the power of thought can truly attract wealth or whether prosperity is created by something far more demanding. The answer hidden inside The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles challenges one of the biggest misconceptions about success, and overlooking it may be the reason so many hardworking people stay exactly where they are. The real breakthrough begins with two simple words: think and act. Most people separate them, believing that positive thinking alone will change their future or that relentless action alone guarantees results. Neither is enough. When thought loses direction, action becomes exhausting. When action never follows thought, dreams remain invisible. The extraordinary part is that lasting prosperity emerges only when both move together with absolute consistency. Yet one question remains unanswered. Why do two people with similar talent, similar opportunities, and similar effort often end up living completely different financial lives? The explanation has very little to do with luck, background, or even education. It lies in a principle so subtle that many read past it without realizing it. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why changing your financial reality begins long before money ever appears, and why one overlooked habit silently determines whether abundance becomes your future or remains forever out of reach. Wealth begins with identity, not income. The life you create can never rise above the identity you accept. Most people believe a higher income automatically creates a wealthier life. It sounds logical, yet reality tells a different story. Countless individuals earn more than they ever imagined and still struggle financially because every decision they make is filtered through an identity built on scarcity. Money changes their circumstances, but it never changes the beliefs directing those circumstances. That is why genuine prosperity begins long before a paycheck grows. Every financial choice, whether to invest, hesitate, create, or avoid risk, is influenced by an invisible story about what feels possible. Someone who unconsciously believes wealth belongs to other people will often reject opportunities without realizing it. The limitation is rarely external. It quietly lives inside the expectations carried into every decision. This is where the principle becomes practical. Instead of asking, "How can I make more money?" a more powerful question emerges. Who must I become to consistently create value? That subtle shift changes attention completely. Instead of chasing quick rewards, the focus turns toward developing competence, discipline, confidence, and usefulness. Income eventually follows because value begins to multiply. An interesting pattern appears among people who build lasting prosperity. They stop measuring themselves by their current results and start behaving according to the future they intend to create. Their identity moves first. Their circumstances catch up later. This is not blind optimism. It is a change in behavior driven by a new internal standard. But identity alone is still not enough. Many people reshape the way they think, yet their external reality barely changes. There is another principle operating beneath the surface, and without it, even the strongest mindset slowly loses its power. That hidden discipline changes everything. The invisible discipline that turns ideas into prosperity. Consistency is the force that gives invisible thoughts a visible future. A compelling idea can inspire change for a day. A disciplined mind can transform an entire lifetime. This is where many ambitious people unknowingly sabotage themselves. They experience moments of clarity, feel motivated to change, and then allow distractions, fear, or temporary setbacks to pull them away from the direction they originally chose. Prosperity is rarely built through dramatic breakthroughs. More often, it emerges from an almost invisible habit, returning to the same purpose every single day, regardless of changing emotions. A focused mind becomes powerful not because it never doubts, but because it refuses to surrender its direction whenever doubt appears. Notice what happens to someone who constantly changes goals. One week they pursue a business, the next they chase a different opportunity, and soon after they abandon both for another promising path. Energy is continuously spent, yet very little is accumulated. Progress requires continuity, and continuity demands discipline long before it produces visible rewards. The practical lesson is surprisingly simple. Every decision, no matter how small, either reinforces the future you want or strengthens the habits keeping you where you are. Reading one more page, improving one skill, solving one problem better than yesterday, or completing one meaningful task may seem insignificant in isolation. Repeated consistently, these actions become the architecture of prosperity. There is another subtle truth hidden here. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to work endlessly. It is about protecting your attention from anything that weakens your commitment to a meaningful objective. When thought and daily behavior move in the same direction, progress stops depending on motivation and starts becoming inevitable. Still, an important question remains unanswered. Even disciplined people sometimes fail to create extraordinary wealth. The difference often lies in what they choose to pursue. The next principle reveals why creating value will always outperform chasing opportunities. Creating value instead of chasing opportunities. The richest opportunities are often created, not discovered. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect investment, the perfect market, or the perfect moment to change their lives. Ironically, that endless search can become the very reason progress never begins. Prosperity grows faster when attention shifts away from hunting opportunities and toward becoming someone who creates undeniable value wherever they stand. This changes the entire way success is viewed. A scarcity mindset asks, where can I get more? A creative mindset asks, how can I contribute more? At first glance, the difference appears subtle. In practice, it transforms every decision. Those who focus only on extracting value eventually compete with everyone else. Those who consistently create value become increasingly difficult to replace. History repeatedly rewards people who solve meaningful problems. Businesses expand because they improve lives. Professionals become indispensable because they make other people more successful. Entrepreneurs grow because they recognize needs others ignore. Wealth follows as a consequence of usefulness, not merely ambition. This principle also reshapes the relationship with competition. Instead of fearing someone else's success, creative individuals recognize that abundance is not a fixed resource waiting to be divided. New ideas, better solutions, stronger relationships, and greater service continuously expand what is possible. The question is no longer how to take a larger share of the existing pie, but how to help bake a bigger one. Applied daily, this perspective becomes remarkably practical. Every conversation, project, product, or service becomes an opportunity to leave something better than it was before. Small improvements repeated over months develop trust. Trust creates influence. Influence opens doors that effort alone rarely can. Yet even this principle remains incomplete on its own. Creating value explains why prosperity grows, but one final element determines whether that growth becomes temporary or lasts for a lifetime. The final principle brings every lesson together into a single formula that can reshape the way success is pursued forever. Think and act, the daily formula for lasting prosperity. Thought without action creates illusion. Action without purpose creates exhaustion. The journey began with a question that has challenged generations. Can the power of thought truly attract wealth? The answer is both simpler and more demanding than most people expect. Thought does not replace action. It gives action its direction. When both become inseparable, prosperity stops being an accident and starts becoming the natural result of living with intention. Everything now comes together. Identity determines what feels possible. Discipline keeps that vision alive when enthusiasm fades. Creating value gives the world a reason to reward your efforts. Remove any one of these elements and progress becomes unstable. Combine them consistently, and each principle strengthens the next, forming a cycle that grows more powerful over time. The greatest obstacle was never a lack of opportunity. It was the quiet habit of thinking one way while acting another. Many people dream of abundance, but make decisions rooted in fear. Others work tirelessly without a clear destination. Lasting prosperity emerges only when belief, purpose, and daily behavior begin moving in the same direction. That is why gratitude becomes more than a pleasant emotion. It sharpens awareness of possibilities instead of limitations. Persistence becomes more than stubbornness. It is evidence that today's invisible efforts are building tomorrow's visible results. Every meaningful action reinforces the identity of someone who creates rather than merely consumes, contributes rather than competes, and builds rather than waits. The principle hidden behind think and act is not a promise of instant riches. It is a blueprint for becoming the kind of person capable of creating wealth repeatedly, regardless of changing circumstances. Money may come and go, markets may rise and fall, but the ability to think clearly, act deliberately, and create lasting value remains one asset no one can take away. The question that opened this journey now has its answer. The power of thought attracts prosperity only when it transforms the way you live each day. Wealth is not built by wishing for a different future. It is built by becoming a different person, one decision at a time. The moment thought and action begin working together, prosperity stops being a distant possibility and becomes a direction you deliberately choose every single day.